Hey guys, in today's video, as the title suggests, we're going to be analyzing Bach. And we're not going to just be analyzing any piece by Bach, we're going to be analyzing one of his thousands of chorales. To be specific, I'm going to butcher this name, but Ach blieb bei uns Herr Jesu Christ. And let's get over to that. Also, if you would like to, there's a link to a document in the description that has the sheet music already there, non-analyzed, so you can analyze along with me or analyze before me and check your answers. Okay, as I said before, we're going to be analyzing Ach blieb bei uns Herr Jesu Christ by J.S. Bach. Before we go ahead and start analyzing the music, I'm going to play through it once so you can get a feel for what it sounds like. All right, really lovely little piece by J.S. Bach. So I'm going to start analyzing this right now. And what we have here is an A in the bass, an E in the tenor line, an A in the alto, and a C sharp in the soprano. So A, C sharp, E, we got A major. And what would you look at that? We're in the key of A major. So I'm going to start actually analyzing both the inversion, the Roman numeral, and the lettering at the same time to save time. So we got an A, an E, an A, a C sharp, and then on the offbeat, the soprano is going to have a D. Well, that D is actually a passing tone, which we'll be going over non-chord tones such as passing tones later. So that is just going to be another A major chord. And that is a 1 chord. And there we go. The next chord we have is built off of a G sharp, an E, a B, and another E. So let's restack that into thirds. So we have an E, E, G sharp, B. That's an E major chord, and E major in the key of A major. If you've guessed it, it's the 5 chord, which means it's the dominant chord. So more than likely, the next chord is going to be A major. I'm not looking at right now, but trust me. But let's take a look. Bass is playing an A, then you have an E, A and C sharp, A major chord. Bach always likes to have his 5-1 progressions. Then we have a F sharp in the bass, a E in the tenor going down to a D. So F sharp, A, E. So let me take a look at this real quick. F sharp. It could be actually D, F sharp, A. So it's a D major chord. We're actually going to consider this E right here to be a pedal non-chord tone, which we'll go over later on, which that would make D major the 4 chord in the key of A major. Next we have a G natural, a D, a G natural, and a B. Well, that would actually make a G major chord, which if you guessed it already, that does not happen in our key. We're going to call that an X chord just for simplicity's sake, because we'll go into what secondary chords are that are chords that don't belong in the key are. Also, I realized I was bad about this. I did not go over inversion for some of these chords. So let's go back to this G, E, B, E chord. Since we see that G is in the bass, that means it's in second inversion. So besides that 5, we're going to have a 6 to denote it being in second inversion. And now this D major chord, we have an F sharp, D, and an A. F sharp being the 3rd, and the 3rd being the base of the chord. That puts it in first inversion, so it gets a 6 next to it. This G major, since it's an X chord and it's in root position, we're going to leave it alone. Next, we have A, C sharp, and an E, which, guess what? It's another A major chord. Oh my gosh, it's almost like we're in the key of A major. Crazy. Then we have a D, A, F sharp, D. D major again. That makes a 4 chord. Next we have A, E, C sharp, A major. That's in 1. That is a E major chord or an E dominant 7th because you have a D right here that is in root position. So you're going to put it like that, which we went over in the last video. And from here on, I'm going to stop explaining everything and just saying what the chords are and their inversion. F sharp A, C sharp A. You know what? I'm going to keep saying what they are, just to keep the consistency of the video going. And this chord is our first minor chord of the key, which is our 6th chord, F sharp minor. Then we have D, F sharp A, and the bass is doing a little non-chord tone run going up, but it all spells out essentially just a D major chord, which is a 4 chord in the key of A major. And we're not going to analyze this one part right here, but for simplicity's sake, you could make the argument that it's like a G diminished, but it happens for just a brief second between this G sharp and this B that I don't think it matters that much. Although now that I'm looking at it, you have a D that's holding on, a G sharp, and a B. That's a diminished chord right there, so I can't really get it to come up that way, so I'm going to have to do this. Or actually, yeah, I'm going to have to do this to get it, but this is more than likely a G sharp diminished chord, which is the 7 of the key, and it is in first inversion. So I'll just drag that right up there. The only reason I had to do that was because it's on a different line. But that's a special instance where I'd say the chord is present, and always analyze what you see. That's the best advice I can tell you. All right, so let's go back here. So we got an A, C sharp, E, and G. Or A, C sharp, E. What do you know? It came right after a 7 chord. It's almost like the music kind of flows like that. Crazy. Then we have a C sharp, A, E, and C sharp, which means we have an A major chord, which is the 1 chord in first inversion. Nice. We're moving along in this piece really quickly. A, E, well, E, A, E, B. All right, so this is going to be one of those really interesting ones to analyze. I think when I first looked at this piece, I was like, this is a little different because the A to the E is actually a perfect 4th or inharmonically a perfect 5th. And then the E to the B is also a perfect 5th. I'm thinking that, I'm thinking the A major is still holding on. Just because we have so much A in our ears. So it'd be a 1-6-4 chord. And I'm just going to write the 6-4 like that. Normally you'd put the 6-4 underneath the note. Or put the 4 underneath the 6. But just for time's sake, I'll put it like that. Actually, let me do that. Let me see if I can't find a way to do that really easily using Finale. 4. Nice. Then we have an E, a G sharp, a B, and a D, which guess what that makes it? E dominant 7. So that'd be a 5-7 chord. And over here we have an A, an E, a C sharp, and an A. We got an A major chord. Also, as you see here, the music is coming to a cadential point. That 1-6-4 will be very important in a later video. 6-4 chords tend to all have important purposes. This 6-4 chord we'd call a cadential 6-4 because it pushes us to the 5 chord, which then pushes us to a 1 chord. All right, and let's go to the next chord. We have an A and E, so we have A major, and it's a 1. Then we have E, E, G sharp, B. Oh, look, got an E major chord. but I don't know why I typed that. I'm going to say it's an E dominant 7 because on the offbeat, it actually has a D in the chord. So then we have a E sharp, a C sharp, a C sharp, and a G. So it's C sharp, E, G, C sharp, E sharp, G, which makes it a C sharp major chord. Which, right now, we're going to call that an X chord. And that is in first inversion. Next, we have a F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, A. We have an F sharp minor chord. Nice. Moving along very quickly. All right. Then we're going to have a B, D sharp, F sharp, A natural, B dominant 7, and that is in first inversion. That is a X chord in first inversion. And that brings us to a G sharp, B, E, G sharp, which is E major. Don't know why it took me so long to say it that time. 5, 6. Then we have F sharp, A sharp, D sharp, A natural. Oh, F sharp, A natural, D sharp, A natural. So we have a D sharp and F sharp. D sharp to F sharp is a minor third away from each other. F sharp to A is also a minor third, which would make it a D sharp diminished chord. That is an X chord in first inversion. Then we have an E, a G sharp, a B. Yep, we got an E major chord, which is a 5 chord. Nice. Then C sharp, G, C sharp, E sharp, G. So C sharp major, X chord, root position. Then we have F sharp A, C sharp A, which would make it F sharp minor. And that is the 6th chord in root inversion. Then we have D, or F sharp, D, F sharp A, which is, lo and behold, D major chord, which is the 4 chord in first inversion. Then we have A, C sharp, E, A, which, oh my gosh, we went back to A major. I think Bach is getting ready to wrap up this piece of music. A, C sharp, F, A. We have an F sharp minor, but I'd be willing to argue with so much F, with so much A going on, you could just argue it's an A major chord, but I'm going to say it's an F sharp minor chord because all the notes are there. You have F sharp, A, C sharp, F sharp minor. And then that's in root position. We have A, C sharp, E, C sharp, A major. And that's the 1 chord, and it's in first inversion. Then we have E, A, E, B. I'm going to say that's another A chord. And that is the 1 chord in 6/4 inversion. Oh, looks like we're getting ready to wrap this up. I bet the next chord, I'm not looking at it right now, it's probably an E dominant 7th. Let's take a look. E, G sharp, D, and a B. What do you know? It's an E dominant 7th. And that is a 5/7 in root position. And we start, the key for the piece is A major. So we're going to take a wild guess. Say it started with A major. It's probably going to end with A major. C sharp, E, C sharp A. What do you know? It's an A major 1 chord in first inversion. All right, and next time we're going to be going over one of my own pieces, my fugue in C major, which should be a little bit different than Bach, just to give y'all an example of like modern contemporary classical music to analyze.